Hi everyone, my name is Josh from Vietnamese House Church. Today I would like to share about what I felt while I was having a farewell party with my previous house church members. During the party, I talked about all of the events we have been through. Some of them are very sad events like house church members leaving, and some of them remind us feeling Jesus and grace like VIP's baptisms. I've been in Japan House Church since I came to Australia in 2017. It has already been 4 years, and during this time, there are a lot of struggles and events that we experienced together. We cried together for our VIPs. We laughed together for our VIPs. We felt frustrated from losing many VIPs too. And we also regretted a lot, prayed a lot, experienced burners out, felt disappointed from house church members. However, we were able to overcome it and stand up again stronger than before. I guess many house church members, house churches might be experiencing or have experienced at least a few things that I have experienced. For me, the hardest thing in house church was to overcome relationships. Jesus wants to love everyone, and of course, house church members are your spiritual family. However, for me, I found myself changing my behaviors and actions to pretend to love them, when in fact my heart was not truly loving them. In fact, became harder and harder for me, and I didn't feel the loving family connection. Instead, I felt like a Saturday meetup family, a friend. I thought to myself that my house church was so different to my real family, and I couldn't seem to love them with the same heart. Despite this, I wanted to be a good guy, so I just acted and behaved well when in fact, I had never opened my heart. In my heart, I sometimes blamed my shepherd and house church members when VIPs did not attend house church. Although it was my misunderstanding, I felt as I was the only one serving VIPs in my house church. I was seeing my shepherd and my house church members' weaknesses rather than their strengths unintentionally, even though I tried to see their strengths. I also blame my shepherd for the lack of changes in our house church members and VIPs. Even though I knew that it was Satan's thoughts, I couldn't change my heart without Jesus changing it for me. At that time, I wasn't praying or doing QT as well. After a single camp, all our house church members felt we needed to do something to change our hardened hearts. And we decided to pray together in my shepherd's house for ourselves and for our VIPs. It worked very well, and it was the turning point that we became real family. We never knew this at the time, but now we know that everything was God's work and grace. I felt the importance of remaining inside of house church, especially when we are experiencing extreme conflicts in our relationships with our house church members. Having said that, we need to communicate and share our feelings with our house church members. This is so that they can pray for us and help us experience Jesus' grace in overcoming our struggles. Lastly, it touched my heart deeply when I listened to the sermon from Pastor Song recently. He said, conflict is the time we see and manage our weaknesses. He also said that we need to acknowledge and respect the personality and temperament of other people. Thirdly, we need to achieve personal maturity through being lower. Through this sermon, it made me realize that everything I went through in my house church was helping me become a mature Christian who is loving, understanding, and respecting all people. House church was a place where I grew spiritually and experienced God's work. Thank you for listening to my story.